These 10 Star Trek Voyager episodes convince me Janeway and Chakotay should be a couple. Captain Catherine Janeway Kate Mulgrew and First Officer Commander Chakotay Robert Beltran have an incredibly interesting and nuanced relationship in Star Trek Voyager. As a captain and first officer duo, Captain Janeway and Commander Chakotay face circumstances and challenges that are unparalleled in Star Trek history. If Star Trek, The Next Generation's Captain Jean-Luc Picard Patrick Stewart and Commander William T. Riker Jonathan Frakes had interpersonal issues, Commander Riker could have transferred to another ship. If Captain Janeway and Commander Chakotay fought, their only options were resolution or mutiny. But beyond conflict, there was yet another line Captain Janeway and Commander Chakotay could not cross on Voyager. Because Captain Janeway had to be the ultimate authority on the ship, she could not ethically enter into a romantic relationship with anyone on Voyager. Indeed, Kate Mulgrew herself did not want Captain Janeway to be tied down by romantic subplots. Nevertheless, the deep bonds the pair share could easily, under different circumstances, blossom from friendship to romance. Now that the USS Voyager is back in the Alpha Quadrant, Captain Janeway and Commander Chakotay should have more of a relationship. Extreme Risk is one of the darkest episodes in the show, and it is also one of Voyager's best episodes. In Extreme Risk, LT B'Elanna Torres Roxanne Dawson learns of the destruction of the Maquis and enters a life-threatening spiral of despair, so the episode is naturally more focused on LT Torres than anyone else. In the background, however, Captain Janeway and Commander Chakotay work together to help her. As such, the conversations between Captain Janeway and Commander Chakotay show how the two of them work together as a unit for the good of their crew. Extreme Risk also shows the lengths to which Commander Chakotay specifically will go to protect the people he loves. He risks his life to save LT Torres from despair and is willing to stand by her in the face of devastatingly hard truths. Since that is the same care and devotion that Commander Chakotay shows Captain Janeway throughout Voyager, it is easy to deduce that he loves her as well. In Star Trek Voyager Season 1, a core conflict is the integration of Starfleet and Maquis crew members. Up until the first episode, Caretaker, the crew of Voyager had been sent to capture the Maquis, and the Maquis had deep political reasons to mistrust Starfleet. So, in Voyager's Learning Curve, then Lieutenant Tuvok Tim Russ works to integrate those Maquis crew members who exist furthest from the Starfleet ideal into Voyager's crew. After this early episode, Captain Janeway and Commander Chakotay were forever linked. While Star Trek Voyager never made Catherine Janeway and Chakotay an official couple, the chemistry between the captain and her steadfast first officer practically jumped off the screen. From quiet moments in the ready room to intense situations on alien worlds, their deep bond and unspoken feelings were undeniable. Though Starfleet protocol and Janeway's own sense of command duty may have kept them apart, these 10 episodes made me believe they should have been together all along. 1. Resolutions, Season 2, Episode 25. Let's start with the most blatant of all Janeway/Chakotay moments. Stranded on a planet due to an incurable virus, Janeway and Chakotay must accept the possibility that they'll never return to Voyager. With no crew to lead and no ranks to uphold, the two settle into a new life, complete with a cabin, gardening, and emotional vulnerability. Chakotay tells Janeway a romantic legend about a man devoted to a woman, and their time together is filled with longing and quiet domestic bliss. If not for the eventual cure, it's clear they would have become a couple. Resolutions was less of a shipper's dream and more of a full-on test run for a relationship. 2. Shattered, Season 7, Episode 11. When Voyager is fractured into different time periods, Chakotay has to convince a past version of Janeway to trust him. As they move through various timelines, we see their partnership reflected through years of mutual respect and affection. Janeway even gets to see how her future self clearly trusts and depends on Chakotay, and the spark between them is palpable. There's a wistful, almost tragic tone to their interactions in this episode, highlighting what might have been. 3. Coda, Season 3, Episode 15. Janeway undergoes a series of false death experiences, and each time, Chakotay is there, grieving or trying to save her. His reactions are deeply emotional, too emotional for just a friend or first officer. When Janeway actually dies briefly, Chakotay is visibly shattered. His grief is raw and heartfelt, confirming that his feelings go far beyond duty. If Coda doesn't make you believe Chakotay is in love with Janeway, nothing will. 4. The Cloud, Season 1, Episode 6. An early episode, The Cloud sets the tone for their dynamic. Janeway confides in Chakotay about how lonely command can be. He gives her advice, spiritual insight, and the comfort of knowing she's not truly alone. Their coffee chat and the way they look at each other feels like two people laying the foundation for something more meaningful. It's understated but emotionally resonant, and in hindsight, it's clear that the writers were toying with a romantic connection early on. 5. Unforgettable Season 4, Episode 22. While technically a Chakotay romance episode with another alien woman, the real emotional tension lies in what's not said between him and Janeway. When Chakotay falls for someone else, it highlights the quiet pain Janeway feels, not jealousy exactly, but a reminder of what she's denied herself. The way Janeway handles it with grace, distance, and silent longing says volumes. 6. Year of Hell Parts I and II, Season 4, Episodes 8 and 9. During one of Voyager's darkest chapters, Janeway and Chakotay clash, then come back together with renewed commitment. Their argument about how to proceed in dire circumstances is the kind that only comes from deep emotional involvement. But it's their reconciliation and unshakable support for one another that really cements their bond. As the ship is falling apart around them, their connection is one of the few things holding it all together. 7. The Fight, Season 5, Episode 19. In a surreal episode that explores Chakotay's mind, Janeway appears as a calming, authoritative presence guiding him through chaos. While the episode is metaphorical and strange, it also reveals how Janeway is embedded in Chakotay's psyche. She's not just his captain, she's his anchor. The symbolism isn't subtle. When his brain is breaking, it's Janeway's voice he trusts most. 8. Scorpion, Parts I and II, Season 3 Finale and Season 4 Premiere. These two episodes are a high-stakes turning point for the series and for Janeway and Chakotay's relationship. Faced with the impossible choice of allying with the Borg, the tension between Janeway and Chakotay becomes personal. He challenges her decisions, but ultimately supports her. Their fierce arguments are layered with emotion, and their reconciliation, when Janeway reaches out to Chakotay in her time of pain, reveals just how intimate their relationship has become. It's passion disguised as diplomacy. 9. Workforce, Parts I and II, Season 7, Episodes 16 and 17. In this two-parter, the crew of Voyager is brainwashed into new identities. Janeway becomes a civilian engineer, and Chakotay, posing as a stranger, flirts with her, clearly drawn to her even without memories. The most telling detail? She's drawn to him too. With no ranks, no Starfleet rules, no past, they still connect. It's a quiet confirmation that something between them is faded beyond uniforms and roles. 10. Endgame, Season 7, Episodes 25 and 26. In the series finale, we get a poignant moment between Admiral Janeway and Chakotay in the future timeline, one that confirms they were once close, possibly even romantically. But what hits hardest is what doesn't happen in the current timeline. There's no final kiss, no